Hello and welcome back. We are into module 6 for quantum energetics global. And in this module, we're going to be focusing on the AO scan vitals and how we can work with that within the quantum energetics global system. So really looking at the biochemistry of the body and how we can balance that as we go. So what will be covered? The vital scan from the AO. We are going to look at a method called the biofield repatterning method. We are going to look at food sensitivities protocol, a toxicity protocol, a nutritional protocol, the digestive system and working with that, hormones and working with those. We've got miasms and supplements and the AO scan. So when we're looking into the vitals, we are extremely blessed to have access to this way of reading the body's frequencies and how they're reacting to different toxins and stimulus in the world. And while we don't need to pay attention to every single line item, the vital scan can provide us with valuable information when we start to look at recurring patterns, which is what we really want to be doing, and categories that are consistently staying out of balance. In your basic training, you saw how to read the scans with the different numbers. And with the skill of muscle testing, we can now start to bring this information to life. And with further kinesiology practices and corrections, we can also help the body come into balance with those things that they are reacting with, if this is required. So we'll do the frequency reading, which is your AO scan vitals. We can use the muscle testing to bring the scan data to life. And then we've got corrections to help the body come into balance. So using the RM or the quantum energetics database as well as we go through. So decoding the numbers, this is always a bit of a sticking point sometimes for people when we start to use the AO scan, and it can be a little confusing. We have the number scale of 1 to 9, and it's important to understand in our AO scan journey. As in the world of kinesiology, we often refer to something as having an over energy or an under energy. So we can think of the 8 or the 9 as an over energy and the 1 or the 2 as an under energy. And I'll explain a little bit more what I mean about that. So previously we have looked at the chakras and we have looked at the vital scan to do the chakras and also the meridians. And we've looked at those with an over and an under view as well. So I like to think of the vital scan with the numbers in this way also. So an over energy, which in this case would be an 8 or a 9, generally means something has too much energy. And in the case of the AO scan, this can be seen as inflammation. However, it can also mean that it's an acute issue. So it's something happening right now. And the numbers corresponding to this would be the 8 or the 9. And this would be considered to be out of balance. Another way to interpret these numbers can also be that the level of whatever is indicated, for example, if we're looking at a vitamin or a mineral or something like that, that level may be high. We then have the 1 or the 2 or the under energy, and this can be interpreted as an under energy or as described in the AO scan, a diminishing function risk. So if we think about diminishing, it means lower. Function is how we are in the world or what we can do in the world, and there's the risk there. So to us, this means that it could be having an effect on the body that is slowing things down. Okay, so perhaps making them a little sluggish. And it can also mean that it's a chronic condition, so something that we've had for a long time, not something that's just flared up in the present. Another way to interpret this is that whatever the item is, as a 1 or a 2, may be low. So if it's a vitamin or a mineral, so say it's iron and it's a 1 or a 2, you might say, okay, maybe my iron's a little bit low. As you move through the AO scan vitals report, you may note that particular areas are showing up more in the red on the whole than in others, so different categories. And it's important to note these things and discuss them with your client. Often these things will have been highlighted already in the inner voice, or they'll be known to the client. So you don't need to be an expert in everything when we're reading the vitals report. In fact, you can drive yourself absolutely bonkers if you try to be an expert in everything. So headings will guide you to the body's areas. You can click on the line items for descriptions of what you're not sure of, and you can discuss the relevance with your client as well. You can always ask the question, so what does this mean to you? Have you had any issues with this in the past? Is this familiar to you? Do you have any of the symptoms that this might have? Okay, so you don't have to always be an expert on everything, and it's okay to say you don't know. I often have things come up in the AO scan, and I'll say, I have no idea, particularly, in the vitals, but also in the comprehensive, with the different parts of the body. Some of the parts of the bodies I've never heard of. It doesn't stop me from being able to work with them, though. And then I can go and do some research if I need to. And sometimes I don't even need to. Some of them I can't even say, and you'll find that as well. And that's okay. We're not here to know everything. It's just not our job. Okay. So there's further training in the Solex University that's paid, will help you go to dive deeper into each line by line item. But honestly, I want to teach you to take a bit more of a broader approach with this, and to use your muscle testing and to use the methods that we have to help to balance people out with this as well. Okay, and making our jobs easier, not harder.